Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Carry On Friends, the Caribbean American Experience. And I'm excited because the pre recording conversation was already exciting and fun. And so I'm excited to welcome J.O. to the podcast. J.O., how are you? Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Carrie Ann, thank you for that awesome introduction. Just happy to be here talking with you.
I'm excited. So, why don't you tell the community of friends a little bit about who you are, Caribbean country or countries you represent, and a little bit about the work you do?
Okay, the country I represent is Jamaica. I'm first generation, born in Miami, Florida. You guys know how that goes. Big old family. I'm the last one, but when they got me, they're like, okay, we're staying. So we all grew up in Miami, New York, and that kind of existence. But overall, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a songwriter, content creator. I do all of those things. Uh, if you ever seen In Living Color and you know the Heyman sketch, I am that person. I've kind of lived up to that most of my my life. Um, Other things I do, entertainment industry professional, over 10 years experience. Everything from music videos, directing, writing, above and below the line. I just keep going. You learn one thing and you're like, all right, I see what you guys got going on over here, but I want more. And I just use my ambition and just keep moving up the ladder. Currently, I support the business affairs attorneys for a major streaming company. And basically, we negotiate with the writers and content partners for the platform. So that's like my day hustle. And like I said, a lot of jobs, I just keep going. It's ambition. We can do this. This can be the interview if you keep letting me go. But
Listen, you just in that opening, right? Like you may have full-time job, the day hustle, and we do this. And then you asked me if I was a filmmaker, before we started recording. I'm like, nah, but if I feel like I could direct some stuff, just give me resource and I'm a take a stab at it. It's the energy. It's the culture, you're full of ambition and you just want to try a thing if you are interested in it. So I already love that energy. So we know that man of many talents, you see something,
sure.
you're full of ambition. What made you first decide that you wanted to get into entertainment? You wanted to direct, you wanted to do all this. What was that first little spark for you?
It, how can music was my entry point. Music and poetry. Um, my mother raised all us by herself when she got here, but the memories I do have of my father, he did play a part, right? Jamaican man, love his music. So we always had like Bob playing, like core memories early on is Bob Marley, Could This Be Love, dancing with my dad, dancing with my mom, my brothers and sisters. Um, that lit the spark for music. And then I'm a little older, so Michael Jackson, Moonwalk.
Listen, there's not one Jamaican I come across that don't talk about Michael Jackson
Yes.
because I have a similar memory. Like you said, a little older, so 1988, after Hurricane Gilbert damages Jamaica, right?
Hmm.
My brother and my cousin, all the fence and everything blow down. We get up and we're performing the Bad album to everybody.
Yes, yes. Oh, the family performances that bring like you perform for whoever come over. That's just the way we grew up. It's so funny that you mentioned that part of it. But music definitely lit the spark. I'm always singing, even in school, getting in trouble for like, hold on, teacher, I know the answer to that, but let me do this little performance in the middle. Like, just that kind of energy since I was a kid. That's just how I've always been.
No, that is amazing. And all right, so the entry point was music. I feel
Mhm.
like I already feel the connection because as I said to you, my husband's like, how much TV you love watch? Which song don't you know? Right?
Right.
Because, you know, as I was saying earlier, as a girl, I can't roam and go about business like he would as a boy growing up in Jamaica. When I moved here, that was the first time ever I experienced what it meant to be a latchkey kid, because in Jamaica, your family live in the district or the community. Auntie live across the road, right? They're neighbors. So you're never really alone. And I grew up in what they call a multi-generational home, because it's not just your mommy and you, it's mommy, grandma, uncle, everybody live in the one house, right? So I was never home alone. So when I came here, it was experiencing being a latchkey kid. So you either watch TV, or when you're tired of watch TV, where you do, you play music, or when you
Play
play
music.
music, you come back and watch TV again. So I already feel like, yes, you're speaking my language. So music was the entry point. And then what was that first scenario where you're like, oh, I could do a little bit more? What is that?
School. So in school, high school, just looking for a class for an A, right? Looking for something so you don't have to work so hard. Like, all right, I'm good scholastically. My grades are like, I'm smart. I can pass tests and all of that, but I don't want to work so hard. Teenage boy, I want to do teenage boy things. But I take drama as an elective, just random. And in the class, I have a teacher, Miss Santiago. I still remember her name. And I won't lie to you, very humble beginnings. Like, it's not a rosy, I'm smiling and I'm glossing over all the hardship, right? Which I know everyone is familiar with. But um, get to high school, I'm like working a full time job after school, overnight, clean up, come to school, in class. So looking for easy ways, easy grades, so to speak. I take drama. Miss Santiago, she sees something. I think I do uh, the Hurricane. I do a scene from the Hurricane with Denzel. I don't know if you remember the scene where he's kind of like battling demons. He's in solitary confinement, battling demons, and she gives me a project, and I do the project, and it touches something in her. The class is like they see me differently for the first time, and if I just put a little asterisk by that moment, because I'm like, okay, this is something I could do. Once I get the other parts of my life kind of cleared up, we're gonna circle back to this because I think there's a talent here, and that's literally what I did. Long journey, but that moment, I definitely remember being in drama class in high school and saying, "Oh, I can do this," and I get a reaction from this that it's good for both parties. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Some
I know
people
what you
get it for
mean.
the wrong reasons. They want other things, but I felt good giving the performance, and the people who received it felt touched by it. So it sparked something in me.
So from that moment to where you are now, like, I'm sure there's a lot of ups and downs,
Absolutely.
meanderings. Did you always work a full-time job and then decided that, I'm gonna do music on the side? At what point did you actually start to actively work on this thing while doing a full-time job? And where did you find time in the edges of your day to kind of do this?
I'm a firm believer in the 24-hour day. So there's 24 hours in a day. You can't get more, you can't get less. So you really have to map it out. And most of my life, I, I go with the flow. Sometimes I can be on Caribbean people time. That's what my friends call it. But for the most part, I know where I need to be, what I need to be doing. I have a good blueprint, so to speak. Um, After college, so the ambitious side, right? You have to make sure the money's right. So you have to do the schooling. You don't have to, but I'm not a person who believes you have to put all the eggs in one basket. I think you can spread it, and if you take your time and you're intentional, you can get to where you need to go. So, with my humble beginnings, I wasn't going to go more humble beginnings. I'm trying to get out of that. So, went to college, got a business degree. Um, the one thing I should say, another thing people might know me from is Extreme Makeover. So I was born with a cleft palate, and I got on the show to Extreme Makeover. They did my final surgery.
Oh,
So
wow.
right.
Wow.
So, but that is a game changer for me, right? So that's part of the things that I said. I have to wrap up certain things in my life so that I can move forward. So I put a pin in the music, I put a pin in the acting, and I got that part taken care of. I got on that show, and they brought me to LA for the first time, and so that's what, Jesus, 2005. So just for some context of how long the journey goes. So in 2005, I'm on this show. It changes everything for me. I couldn't have planned it that way. I'm on Larry King. I'm sitting next to him. I'm in LA, and just living it up, seeing how they do things, and then realizing like, okay, are they going to let me in this industry this way? And at that time, it was kind of the reality TV versus scripted TV battle. And people were like, "Why is there so much reality TV on?" And all of that kind of nonsense. Where really it's just entertainment. Like, but I did have to start over. I had to go back to acting classes. I had to learn how to act. I had to learn how to audition. I had to learn how to screenwrite and all of that thing. So when I got out here after the show and I'm trying to get in the industry, I'm all green, going to auditions, and I clearly see I'm not up to snuff. I'm not on the level of these people. They're killing it. Let's go back to the lab. So around 2009 ish, 2008, I get really serious about being in the entertainment business. Um, I put songs on TV shows in the meantime. I worked accounting contract jobs. I did background work. I did work. you know, I worked the events. You get in where you fit in. That really is the motto. You go around, you hire five people, you make them feel good about themselves. You learn your craft, you hone your craft. It takes so long to figure out what you want to say, right? Forget just making a show. Like, why do you want to make a show? What do you want to tell people? I'm not a ego-driven person, so I really had to sit down with myself. Like, what am I trying to express? What do I want people to leave with when they watch something I make? How do I want them to feel? Is it just about money? Is it about women or the other things? Like, those are all things that get you off track. It's really easy to get caught up in the drugs, the lifestyle.
All right. So, Jo, what you just said resonated with me, particularly the part on how long it takes, because I feel like personally, right? I'm not gonna say a lot of people out. Sometimes they feel like, yo, this is taking forever. And sometimes you feel like, am I doing something wrong? But it's the process, right? It's just like you said, like you have to try a thing, you see that you're not up to snuff, you have to take away yourself, as we say, and go back to the drawing board. And let's just be honest, the process just does take long. It just feels like it's shorter for other people because we're seeing the top of their iceberg, but we don't understand how long it really takes. So, you just really gave a really quick timeline from when that spark first came, going out to LA, then deciding to, okay, let me try a few things. And then in the trying the few things, knowing that I'm still not even anywhere where I need to be. I think that's where the frustration is, right? Yo, man, all right, you're learning different angle of the business. You work on events, you do the jobs, you understand the contracts, them of that on the side, you know. But you, there are moments in my day. I'm not speaking about you. So if you relate to this, you find yourself doing a little bit of that, and then there's moments in the day I say, all right, me do all of that, but you still a look down upon the runway and it's way out there. And if I don't catch myself quick, I can get lost in feeling not depressed, but some like hopeless, like not hopeless either, just like, cha.
I know what you mean. Downtrodden,
Yeah,
like
you just feel like, yo, me do all of that, me do right here. So I'm just look like, look how much further it is to go. And it can be easy to give up in those moments. So how do you handle those moments where you're just like, dang, I did all of that. I've been doing all this work. I know there's more to do, but I'm nowhere where I need to be. Like, how do you handle those? And then we'll go back to your story.
I'll say, my youth prepared me for this. Like to me, this is nothing, right? Because, and I don't mean nothing, like like it doesn't matter, but it's in comparison to what we had to endure coming to get here. This isn't what matters. What matters is you, us having this conversation, your family, your loved ones. Like, I mean, the pandemic kind of showed us what's important. But I am a firm believer that storytelling is one of the most important things to the human experience. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we honor the past. That's how we commemorate things that we should keep going forward, traditions, all of those things. So that's what drove me, because you can't go through something and then forget it when you come up against something that's similar. Like if I dealt with it at 15, when I'm 25, it's going to be a 25-year-old version of it. But I've seen it before. So keep it calm, keep your composure, and then navigate accordingly. And it's the same way. Um, this industry has so many alleys. Well, sometimes dead ends. You can get on the show get canceled. You put out, you write something, you write five things. Nobody wants any of the five. You're about to move back home, and then 6 years later, somebody calls you like, "Hey, you know that thing you wrote? We want to do it," and now your life changed. So it's almost like playing a lottery, but it's a lottery that you can win. It's a lottery, if I keep going this route, if I keep putting in the work, if I keep doing my due diligence, it's going to work out. And that's how my life has gone. So that's the faith I keep with. Like if I keep doing what I'm supposed to do. Now, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're rolling the dice. But if you're doing what you need to be doing, you're intentional about it, it happens. I think my wife says it to me from time to time. She's like, "You always land on your feet." I say it to the people in my circle. You always land on your feet, because you will. How many times have you suffered a setback in your life? So up to this date, you won everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that you said that. It's if you're doing what you're supposed to do, because the distraction comes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because because you feel like what I'm doing now works, so let me try another thing, and that's also part of the journey. But we're not gonna get too philosophical anymore,
But
because I
but
feel
wait,
like
but
yeah, you
think
can't
about.
go down there. So
Oh, easy, easy. We can't definitely. But just to that point, right? That you see something, you get distracted, right? That's a setback in a way, because it's going to take you on a different journey. So you make a left when you could have went straight. Now you got to go the left route, and you do have to go the whole route till you come back. So that's
exactly, exactly that. Um, man, yeah, I feel like me and you go a whole a reason, and let's move off from that. But I do want to just put a pin in that point. Like a lot of times, what we're doing feels monotonous. It's not getting us anywhere, but it is the path, right? And if we look. Like in a previous episode, I said to a friend, "Ungo, you saying can run and look right. I still win, right? That's not us. All right.
everybody can't do that.
Everybody can't do that, right? Just look straight, run your race, run through the tape, lean at the finish line, and
And then do
so
your dance, and
and then do your
then
dance. Exactly, right? Um, so one of the reasons that I wanted to have this conversation with you, as I started before, um, I feel like the industry you're in, media and entertainment, is one of the last frontiers for us. Or as people of Caribbean heritage, us as Jamaicans, and then broadly people of Caribbean heritage. People already are talk about with food, jerk chicken, them are talk about oxtails, our music has taken over, or dances have taken over. And so I feel like media and entertainment, seeing ourselves on the small screen and big screen more, is like the last frontier for us, in terms of takeover. I didn't want to say takeover, but you know what I mean. We're
I do.
takeover, right? Because the talent is there. The stories, we can't run out of stories. It's in abundance, right?
Right.
A,
Never ending.
it's never ending. An immigration story for me coming to Brooklyn is different for your mom going to Miami, different from someone going to California, Texas, right? It's a
Right.
similar experience, but the stories are different, right? And so I wanted to kind of ask about what your thoughts are on where the future is for us on that, because if you're following the news, platforms are being acquired, businesses are being sold. You just said it. Shows are being canceled, things aren't being picked up. And to your point, there are other people better than you out there, right? And so it's not as easy. I had a previous episode where someone was just like, they're not just hiring Caribbean people for roles, and if you're not part of, what's the word, if you're not part of the union, that's another hurdle that's going to impact you and all that. So from where you sit, from your experience, what are your thoughts on this whole last frontier, like Star
Man,
Trek?
I have a lot. I have a lot of thoughts on this, right?
I'm ready for all those thoughts. Bring it.
So I do a little consulting on the side, and this is something I run into a lot because people watch TV and they instantly it's human nature. You see somebody on TV, if someone kind of looks like you, or maybe you just love the story, you say, "I can do that," and you can. For a long time, they kind of didn't let us behind the curtain to see uh, what the wizard is up to. From the Wizard of Oz. What's the wizard doing back there? But I think the first thing to get in this industry, this business, from what I see, a lot of people don't understand how it works. And what I mean by that is when you say business, well, I'm not talking about art because art. Art is life, right? That's music, dancing, all the things you said. That's art. Culture is art. That's part of who you are as a human. But when you add the word business to it and you say movie business, music business, television business, all of that stuff, that means money is involved. And if you don't know how they make money, and when I say they, I mean the businesses. If you don't understand how the businesses make money, then you won't know where to get in. It's like double dutch, right? Like the rope I go, you're like you got to know where you get in because if you don't know how, then what are we doing? So first thing I would say is that understanding that advertising, marketing, or subscriptions is how they make most of their money. It doesn't matter if it's an album. If you're listening to the radio, it's not about your music. It's about the commercials on the radio. If you're watching TV, that Tide commercial. Sorry, I said a brand. I don't know if you, but if you see a commercial in between your shows, which all of them have ad tiers now, so you understand that's how they make money. I'm sure you've been reading the trade, so you know subscriptions, right? Netflix has how many subscriptions, Hulu has how many subscriptions. That's how they make their money. So that's the actual dollar transaction. So that's one thing. If you want to be in this business, understand where the money is made and who the players are coordinating that money dance, so to speak. The second thing I would say is understanding the audience versus the customer. So that's two separate people that you have to make happy. Because when they put Caribbean people on shows and they talk with that terrible patois, and we all know, like, yo, that's not a Jamaican accent. Like, you start Googling them, you're like, are they even Jamaican? And you find out they're from like some some other country that has no affiliation, but their skin is brown or black, and they put them on the movie. But you hear them talking like that's not how my country talks. That's not how we act. You know, you see it on screen and you know instantly. So understanding your audience would say Jamaicans don't like when you don't have a Jamaican person speaking patois, or you know a Trini person, or whatever island that they're representing. If you're not representing it properly, because we're not all one, very similar, but not all one. So that's understanding your audience. So that's on the creative side. But on the other side of that is understanding your customer. You have to make sure that the network, that the sponsors, that the studios, the advertisers are happy too. So you have to tell an authentic story that they want to share with the masses, which is why it's so difficult to be mainstream. That's the main conundrum where do you want to be mainstream or do you want to have your own thing? Because we can have our own thing, we can enjoy it, and then they're gonna be looking over and like, what you guys doing over there? You know what I mean? Or if you try to be mainstream, you know, it's not gonna have all the seasoning and flavors that you're used to or that you like. Which one do you want? Which one makes the most sense for you as a creative, for you as a professional, and in your heart? Like, do you want to talk to your people or do you want to talk to all the people? So, you know, it's a choice. It's a decision that every creative or every filmmaker or anyone in this industry has to make. Do you want to work with the big players or do you want to build something from the ground up? Both sides are needed. And it's not a one trick pony. Like you need all of it to kind of come together to make it happen.
I love that you broke that down. That is so important. And I think the part that I asked someone else in a previous episode was, okay, we understand the networks, we understand the big players. What Where it gets confusing, and I was telling somebody must have last week, what does independent look like? Is it these free platforms, and we just call them name, is it a Roku station channel? Is it a one on the, Pluto? Whatever it all these things are. I don't know. I'm not endorsing one over the other. All they
Okay.
do is it just creates options. It creates so many options that there's inertia because I'm just like, I don't know which one for what. So you default to what's familiar or comfortable because, and then remember, I like to watch TV.
Right.
So I have more streaming channel or platforms than my friends,
Than the
right?
most people.
Yeah, like I have all the things, right? Some people are like, I'm only paying for this, right? So let's talk about that independent side. Like, what are the challenges there? Because it seems like that is the way that most people are going because the majors are harder to get onto, right? But I also feel like there's a struggle with these streaming platforms because there are so many, and which one is going to get me the most views for my project? So let me know your thoughts on that one.
that's that's actually where my heart lies. I am very much a DIY, do it yourself person. I love the independent scene. Um, that's where I got my start. I worked at a small independent production company called Black and Sexy TV for a long time. Um, and in that process, I got to a front row seat of how it is. You know, that's why I said they're kind of you start your own thing, and they're gonna look over the fence and be like, what they got going on over there? What am I going with? You know, they're watching you, and if it gets popular, that's when they send the invitation. Hey, come to our party, come talk. Let's talk about things, and they see how they could collaborate. So there's really no way outside of that. When we added business, we added money. When you say art, it's just art. When you say art business, now you have to see where the money is. And so the players who are courting you, so to speak, you bring your talent, your audience, your viewership, and they bring their finance and their knowledge in that area. And that's where the collaboration and partnership happens. There's no short answer for building up your brand. Like there's you get a good idea, you you start that process, you start putting it out, you get a regular cadence, you get word of mouth. As the money starts to trickle in, you do ads, whether it's on social media or radio, commercials, just like everybody else in business. Newspapers, you do have to be creative, right? Because you don't have as much resources as the bigger companies, but it's the same process. You get the word out, you knock on people's door, you call them, you text your granny if you need to. whoever whoever can help you tell somebody else. You know, I know about WhatsApp. My aunts and everyone from the island, I get more messages. I haven't been to the island in so long, and yet I know everything I feel like that's going on. So
Y- I feel like them boss the auntie them and the grandma them on the WhatsApp. And
definitely.
once, because guess what, I remember, we'll come back to, I remember when I just come America. How am I going to talk to my grandmother in Jamaica after write letter?
Mhm.
And then they came out with phone card.
Calling card, calling back.
You know, go scratch. Right, and then they came out with the cheap phone cards. Yeah, $5, $3, $1 card.
Go pick up a
Hurry up,
card for
man!
me at the
Really quick, rinse it off. And so, and so, you know, we see the evolution of the technology. So, them in Jamaica can just WhatsApp and then can call me WhatsApp, and is not is them credit, is no extra money or whatever. So it's it makes the communication just faster, and to see them just, I mean, sometimes it's pure chain mail them a forward, but I'm
right.
glad for see them and learn to use the
Use the technology
technology,
exactly.
right?
Those
uh
chain letters don't stop.
like, who is forwarding all of these things to you? Like, oh, you get it, oh,
Right.
why? But here we are telling a story within this conversation. So um I do get um I do get that the independent portion is the most viable portion for especially Caribbean creators, right? I think as a consumer, a lot of times it feels like, but I don't see where these platforms are, right? The marketing. So for instance, before we started recording, I met Dennis through the Black Ambition program for Black and Sexy, right? So that's how I knew about that. If I didn't meet Dennis through that program, I wouldn't have known about Black and Sexy as a platform, Black and Sexy TV as a platform for independent filmmakers and all these things, right? So in terms of awareness for the audience, right? You just told us about the audience and the consumer. What more can the platforms do to reach an audience? What are the opportunities to connect with the audience? What are you seeing? Because I really feel like it's just it's reaching the audience, and it might feel like you reach the audience, but it's just a small segment of the audience that you're reaching. So curious to
Right.
hear your thoughts on that.
You know that's the lesson I learned where I realized ambition's not going to get it all done. Right. So I told you early on, I realized I wasn't up to snuff, tightened up my belt, went to the classes, got trained, got right, did all the work to hone the craft, and then realized, like, oh, you know the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you're like, oh, another obstacle, right? So in that, I realized you do have to show up for people. You do have to. If you're creating, you have to find out who else is creating. If you're exhibiting your film at a festival, what other films are in that festival? Meet those directors, meet those producers, meet those marketers, right? Who's hot right now? Who's popping? Who you see on Instagram getting reach, going viral? Who are these people? You got to get in them DMs. You have to go to their birthday party, like their photos. You have to support other people. That's really what I'm getting at. If I put it in a nutshell.
You know what this feels like? I mean, and it's the same concept, like I've never been a party promoter, but you know how dance go in our community. Somebody a keep a dance, you have to show up at the dance. Like you don't say a couple months down the road, you go keep your dance and you want people come and hear your dance and you want your dance sell out. So it's the same process.
Same. And because I've worked in so many industries and I've been around a little bit, you start realizing, oh, that's what Einstein meant, right? Everything, it's all relative. So just because it's over there, it's transferable. The skills are transferable. The methods are transferable. I said when you add business, it it kind of makes it so you know how it's gonna go. You know what to expect. There's always gonna be unexpected things, but once you know what you're dealing with, you can kind of navigate around it. It's like what's the saying? You have to know the rules to break them. So I had to learn how to act before I could even start talking about, oh yeah, I'm an actor. It's like I learned how to act. I learned how to conduct myself on the set, who the players are. It's like, okay, you want to level up. Who are the networks? Who's paying for all of this? Learn that, okay, who are the movers and shakers? Oh yeah, I need to go talk to you. This is what I have going on over here. I made this show, or I know this actor and he has my script and he wants to be in it. You have 20 grand? Okay, cool. If you give me that 20 grand, I give you 20% or 120% on it, or and then we'll go talk to this network. It's like it's the unity tree, right? We all hold hands and we walk into the office and we say, hey, we have millennials, women, Black, Caribbean descent. They make um, 80 to 120K a year, and they like this type. They like single camera comedies, and this is what we make, and this is our pitch deck. This is our show, and we know it'll do this, and this. So now, whatever business that you're pitching to or network, and say, okay, I like that. I want to buy ad time on your website. I want to buy ad time, or I want you to promote your actor to promote my product on his Instagram. Like these are the ways that you start getting the money in so that you can build it. And it's like, I'll give you 40K. So now the 20K from my new partner, my friend I met at the dance, you said, or at the party. That's 20K. That'll pay for the script. And then I go to the marketer or the business, and they said they'll give me 40 grand if I have the actor because they like the actor. They're up and coming. And if they do 3 posts a week for 6 months, they'll give me 40K. I get the 40K. Now I have 60. And I still have the same script, but you see how the money started coming in. Maybe I want to use the artist music. Like, hey, I don't have money now, but at the end, once we sell the tickets, I got you. Okay, I'll do the score, and it's like they call it in kind. So now I get free music in my thing, so I don't have to worry about that cost. So now my budget stays low. You know what I mean? These are just tricks of the trade. I'm spitballing here, so don't hold me to these numbers. But you kind of see how it goes, right? You make the friends, you see who's doing what. How can I help you? How can you help me? What is my goal? What's your goal? Okay, there's some syncopation there. Okay, that's cool. Let's make more money on this. And then when the movie comes out, everyone eats, everyone's happy. Hopefully. If it's a bad movie, then thank
A
you for
whole
coming.
other story. Yes, a whole other story.
We'll do better next time.
Yes. And those things happen, and I think to that
Absolutely.
point, you know, black creators, Caribbean creators, we're not given the same grace to
No,
make a movie that bombs,
no.
right? Everything out the gate have to, shot. Which is unfair because there's so much more mediocre project. Me not go call no name. No, but I mean, they're allowed to make movies about nothing and things that make no sense, and we aren't given the same grace. That's
Yeah.
just kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
And that is the who you know portion, right? Because
yeah.
they know, or they've known. Maybe it's like a nephew. We call them nepo babies, right? Like
Yeah, yep.
you're gonna let your nephew make a movie if you have that if you have that ability to. Now, if it's a
Yeah.
bad movie, now you know you can't make no more. But we have to be in that position,
Yeah.
and we're getting there. But it's you're so right. They don't give us the opportunities, and you can't make a bad step. So the
Yeah.
pressure is always there, and that's
Yeah.
really what kind of inhibits us because we don't want to fail. We know we're doing it for everyone behind us, and if it's bad, it's going to take another 3 years, 5 years, 10 years for them to get another shot. So
Yeah.
you're so right with that. We
Yeah.
do have to make it count, but that's how life. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to fail. Like
Yeah.
we know everything counts. We know we have to do it for ourselves, for our parents, and for our children.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, it is exactly that, right? Yeah. Listen, it's surety them say sure. Yeah, for sure said this is right, and that in itself creates a level of pressure for the creator for and their project. All right, so let's talk about some of the projects that you've worked on and where are they, like what have you done? Tell the audience a little bit more about your portfolio of work.
Um, where to start? The first major things I did back in the day, MTV had a show called Real World Road Rules. Um, Getting to LA, I told you music was the first love, so I figured out how maybe I didn't want to be an artist, a recording artist, but I love music and I love making songs. So I learned about music licensing and I put music on those shows early on. So Real World and Road Rules, I gave them a beat CD. Myself and friends, here you go. And all of those times you're watching TV shows and you hear the little, you know what I mean, the little whatever song you're like, what song is that? You don't know what song it is, but somebody made that, and I was one of those people who used to make those songs. That's how I kind of got the bug, and I realized like, oh, you could just send an email, you could just send. You know what I mean? It's so simple, but they make it so hard. The barrier to entry, because we don't know. After those shows, I did a lot of like acting, background work, all types of comedy. I did improv. I worked with a group called Gibbons Tale for a long time, and we would do entrepreneurial, right? So we would do live shows, live comedy shows. I'd have a comedian do stand up, dancers come, um, yeah, and just make it a whole event, right? You spend $20 and you just hang out, and kind of like a wild and out, a live wild and out situation. Um, and then from there, Black and Sexy TV, I found them. Before that, it wasn't so many black people, but I found the black people in LA who were making content. I'm like, let's go. And they were working with Issa Rae and please forgive me name dropping, but Lena Waithe, they were there. Numa Perrier. Numa is also she's a co-founder with Dennis of Black and Sexy TV. I did sound for them. I was their PA. I worked my way up. I became a writer on their web series. Some of their popular ones, Roomy Lover Friends, Chef Julian, Hello Cupid, the Number reboots. Yeah, those were like some of their hit web series. And from there, they gave me my own. Well, I should say I created one, and then we talked, and I built up that equity with them. Right? They know me. We have the relationship, and I created a hit for them called Rider, which was about a rideshare driver in LA back when Lyft and Uber first started. Everyone thought you were weird for letting someone in your car. And the first, I want to say the first week, I'm driving, and some woman, she's like, I have to get out the car, and her baby's with her, and she's like, "Can you watch my baby?" I was like, "What? Like, what you mean? Can I watch your baby?" So me being that adventurous, I'm like, okay, let's see how this plays out because I'm about to call, I'm about to call child services.
I was about to say adventurous. You're
I,
living on the edge, J.O.
for real. Definitely in that moment, it was one of those, you have someone in your car, a stranger, and you're like, do I help this woman or do I just turn away and say, get out of here, crazy lady? I'm not watching your baby. I decided to watch the baby, and that day I went to a friend's house, Ricardo, who co-created the show with me. And I said, hey, we have a show to make. Because my life as a driver is bananas. And from there, that took off, and that just spiraled into other things as I became a director and writer. And then my current role, I started working at a company called Hulu. So you guys are familiar with it. Um, so that web series got me on Hulu's radar as an employee, not as a creator though, because of all I was doing behind the scenes with Black and Sexy TV. My resume was built up. Hulu was like, hey, come over here, let's talk to you. So being at Hulu, I learned how the big players do things, how they operate, what they got going on. And then recently, I directed a film called Green Trip, short film. It won a bunch of awards. So it's really just a progression, right? I started as an actor, or really as a songwriter. And then, you know what? Songwriting is cool, but I love TV. Let me act. Started acting, realized that, oh, the writers doing all these auditions isn't for me, right? I don't know the people. It's 10 black men. We all kind of look alike. The most popular one wins. Fine, I understand that, but I also know how to work a pen. Let me write my own thing. Wrote my own show. I'm the lead. I'm the star. Hey, hello Hollywood. I'm here. And that takes off. It gets on BET. They air certain episodes that I'm in or that I've written, and then you just keep going up. Like, oh, writers don't have all the power that I need to do things. Let me produce. Producers are cool, but I want to control. You know what? I wish they zoomed in right there because that Carrie Ann just looks so good in the camera. I need to get a close up of that. That's the director's mind. So I took it there. And now it's like, oh, executive, huh? Who's making the decisions on what shows? Because we don't have enough Black or Caribbean people. So guess what? Let go. Let's go. You know what I
Listen,
mean?
you're talking my language because I'm like I'm the one sitting there, so I could do that direction. No, 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 no. Let me see. No, I feel like I could do that. Maybe it's my armchair TV watching, but I just love the story that you're telling, and I also want to call out something that I've always said. My side hustle, it feeds the full-time job, and the full-time job feeds the side hustle because you're learning skills from these different areas. And it is, I'm not knocking anyone who doesn't have a full-time job or prefers to do that, but I want people to lean in and say there are things that you're learning at your full-time job that is very important knowledge for you to have, and it's valuable to someone else. You just have to find the right person it's valuable to. Go
It's
ahead.
it's so true. I'm so glad you said that because that is something I get grief for, right? It's like a workaholic, you're doing too much. And I said Jamaican, another job. Like they come for me all the time with that. But all of it, I'm one person. And the experience I get from my day job or the things I'm exposed to in my day job, they help my other endeavors. Like rich people have a lot of diverse income streams. So you can't look at it. I mean, if you're focused on the money, you can't just look at the job and say, oh, that's all I do. Like I said, that's 24 hours in a day. I told you all these things I do creatively, but right now are you familiar with TED Talks?
Yep.
So I'm a speaker coach for TEDx Inglewood, which is a city in Los Angeles. And it's the skills of directing, right?
When I'm done, Jo is going to be my manager, producer, and director because Jo over here doing the most, but I like it. Jo said, resume long, like longer than the Ten Commandments.
Yeah. So, But it's true though. It's the skills I learned as a director, right? I have to work with actors. I have to make them feel comfortable, help them memorize their lines. Now I'm a speaker coach for people doing TED Talks, right? I get to help them express themselves on that stage in a clear, concise way, learn their dialogue that they wrote. I give them the encouragement to be recorded so that they feel their best selves when they're up there. And thank you for my TED Talk. That's how it goes, and I wouldn't have learned that if I wasn't a director. I wouldn't even been exposed to that if I wasn't doing like DEI work at work and realizing, oh, I need to give back to the community. I'm doing all this me stuff. I want to direct. I want to write. I want to make a movie. It's like, hold on. I'm taking so much from LA. Let me give something back from LA. I can volunteer my time. I can help people who are giving amazing talks to make the world better, the community better. You know what? I got you. I'm going to help you practice your talk and deliver something that's going to impact the community. So these are all ways, three separate things that all fuel me and empower my creativity and business and all of that. Because it does come back. I get to meet certain people in the city who are in charge of permits, perhaps, or city officials who maybe they have the network. Maybe I go to a dinner and I meet that financier who's like, I've been looking for Caribbean content. I can't find it. And I just have $100 million waiting to spend. It's like, you know what? Guess what? And I know you now, right? So I know a platform is like, hey, Caribbean folks, I can advertise for creators on. You see how
Purr,
we're
purr,
doing?
purr, purr.
And that's how we do it. That's how we
Yeah.
build the infrastructure, and that's how we make sure it's our face on the screen, so that it's not just a Bob Marley movie. It's a Ron Marvin movie, and we don't know who Ron Marvin is, but maybe him do something in Jamaica that we need to highlight. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, you are exactly right. So, I started a new podcast called Reels and Rhythms with my creative partner in crime, Michaela, and I
Okay,
started it because I'm constantly telling her, watch the documentary or watch this movie, watch this, watch that. And we're like, okay, let's take this into another podcast. And really it was Black Kate that propelled me to create it because it was a good series, but my philosophy, even with the Bob Marley movie, we did a two-part um town hall, like 7 people on a call. I can love a thing, but I can critique a thing, right? And
absolutely.
we need to say something. It's not perfect. You need to give feedback. The audience, how else are they going to make better things if they don't hear the audience? I say watch it millions of times. Anyway, we start Reels and Rhythms, and I have a list of projects that are either they have strong Caribbean characters, strong Caribbean storylines, right? So it doesn't have to be everything Caribbean. We talk about Shirley Ralph on Abbott Elementary. Her character is phenomenal. Phenomenal. That is
So
how
good to
we
see,
show up
right?
our work. Yeah. Like
Gosh.
that's
Every time she talks and patois on there, I'm like, yes.
like why was she reading the Three Little Pigs in Jamaican, right? But we love it because that's what we do, right?
Right.
So it's those little things we talk about. Okay, granted, we said, as an audience, we have a rating system on Reels and Rhythms, and we like as an audience, you know, we focus a lot on accents, and accents are important, but I can be more lenient with the accent if there's a stronger storyline and there's a stronger character. If it's just a walk on character and the dread, I say, yeah, man, please get an authentic accent, right? Do
Right, right, right.
not come with a fake thing. If they have a, like because we're not gonna get it all, and I've given up that requirement to get it all perfectly, but sometimes you need to get it close to right.
Just real quick to that point, I remember when I was auditioning heavily, right? I would go in and they're like, oh, here's a patois. It's a Jamaican part. We want you to speak patois. And you go in and you chat patois to them. And I'm like, can you say it a little more American? Like, so you want me to talk like this
This.
like you know. So I do have a level of sympathy for some of the actors because I know they get dialed back when you go in there and you talk Papa Fareed. They really do come back and say, uh, let's soften that up a little bit. But go ahead. I'm sorry. You just
No, I
made me
think
remember.
no, but that's exactly why we came up with the rating system. Like, is the patois good or good enough, right? And you know, let's be honest with ourselves, right? There are levels of patois. There's scales from understandable to
Where's
when
that?
just say? Exactly, exactly, right? Even you as a Jamaican say, what in just say? So there, there's a Shirley Ralph on Abbott Elementary Patois, and there is somebody who live Chuku Muku Mako, wherever, wherever. And I'm not disrespecting anybody from those places in Jamaica. I'm
Absolutely not.
just I'm just calling a name, right?
Yeah.
I'm somebody from Mobi, right? Whatever. So Michaela and I started Reels and Rhythms because we recognize that there are projects on TV that people still didn't know about. There's not enough, like you said, there's not enough marketing. So we talk about it. We talk about it, and it's almost like you're watching your friends. It's like a book club, but it's TV. We chat it in real life. And
So cool.
um, just give our commentary through the lens of two Jamaican women living, on the East Coast, what we like about it. And even as two Jamaican women, we're very different. Michaela is like you, born here. I was born in Jamaica. We're different ages. We have different experiences. And those things are important because when we look at the ecosystem for everyone else, they have all these other things supporting these projects. And when we looked out from a Caribbean perspective, we don't have that same ecosystem or infrastructure to support our projects. We don't have that in the Caribbean community, so to speak. So, Reels and Rhythms is inspired by my love of TV documentary watching, but also recognizing that just like how I can produce podcasts, I can give my energy to create this project to support the infrastructure and the ecosystem that you, the creators, the directors, the actors, whatever, need to get people talking about your projects. And everyone thinks of viral. You have to start somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's a word of mouth thing, is a grassroots approach. So I'm glad, Joe. I can talk to you. Listen, we love chat, and I feel like I could talk to you. So me go done the conversation right here, so because the people are gonna say like, "Ours, really?"
I
Um,
mean, it is a great conversation, and I just let me just say this: like what you're doing, so important. The energy you bring, just to even reach out to want to do this, it's needed. You just actually made the case for your own podcast because there's no one else doing it, right? There's no one doing it for Caribbean people. So here you go, rhythms and reels. I said it right, rhythms and
Reels
reels.
and rhythms.
Reels and rhythms, of course, I flip it. True Jamaican, right? But that show, now you're in that slot. And now we have that. We didn't have it before, and now we do. So when we create something, I've known some of the people who've been on your podcast. I had to do my research. Like, who am I talking to? But yeah, you've had some amazing creators on your podcast already. So now when we make content, we can hail you up and
Yeah,
say, hey,
man,
this is
come
what's
true.
going on. And it doesn't have to just be a do a favor thing. It can be another line of income and business for you because you will. I mean, if it's not happening, I'll speak it into existence. Advertising money is coming for you, right? Here come the dollars. So when any of the airlines, any of the tourist companies, they want to find where people are gathered of Caribbean descent. Now they have a platform. It's your platform. And so
Yeah,
when I'm creating now, I say, oh, if I want to reach my Caribbean people, then let me go talk to Carrie Ann. Let me
yeah,
put a 15-second ad in her show. Let me do something. So, you know what I mean? That's how
yeah.
it goes. And
So
I
me
just
like
want
that's how I like
to,
talk to you, and I'm say we go off and end the conversation here, so because we da talk out the
you're right.
things,
You're right. You're right.
we're talking
Thank
out
you
the things.
so much, Carrie Ann. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad I had this conversation with you. You're amazing. journalist and interviewer. I don't know if you call yourself a journalist, but this is journalism. So yeah, journalist now. Thank you
Thank you.
so much, and this is
Thank you,
really
Jo.
fun.
I'm gonna make sure I put the link to your website so people can see what's going on and your social media handles and all the things in the show notes because people need to be following you, keeping up with you and the other creators because una de una already here, but them not soon they come. Yeah, some may say only a gully creep upon them. I want to show up.
Bam.
But exactly, like bomb on a reach, like wait, what's going on? So I love it. So I'm up, audience members. Let me tell you, you already know when me vibe with somebody and get something labrish galore. So we're gonna put a pin right here. So Jo gonna come back when him have a project and ting and ting. And so Jo, as I love to say at the end of every episode, walk good.
Thank you so much.